This plant is a big-capacity spodumene ore processing plant. The capacity for this plant can be customized as per request, such as 500 tons per day, 1,000 tons per day, 2,000 tons per day, etc. For example, the plant is processing 2,000 tons per day. The raw material is spodumene, the feeding material size is less than 500 mm and the raw ore Li2O grade is 1% to 1.5%. The final output concentrate Li2O grade will be 5.5% to 6%. There are 4 main processing parts for this plant. Detailed procedures are as follows. 1. Crushing part. Capacity 167 tons per hour. Send 0 to 500 mm size rocks to the hopper at first. The vibration feeder will feed the rocks into the jaw crusher. After crushing, the smaller rocks will be sent to the next cone crusher to crush to be smaller. Then the smaller rocks will be sent by a vibration screen with 20 mm and amp, 40 mm screens by belt conveyor. The more than 20 mm rocks will be sent back to another cone crusher to crush again. The less than 20 mm rocks will be transferred to an underground transfer bin before the ball mill. Since your processing capacity is big, the output rocks will be a big amount after hours, and the grind part processing capacity is smaller than the crushing part. Therefore, with our experience, we suggest you can make an underground space to store as a transfer place. 2. Grinding and amp. Desliming part. Capacity 84 tons per hour. We'll install a feeder under the transfer bin. It'll send the rocks to the hopper before the ball mill. Then they'll be transferred by the electromagnetic vibration feeder beneath the hopper to the ball mill evenly. The ball mill will grind the less than 20 mm rocks to be 0 to 1 mm, 70% to 80% 200 mesh, around 0.074 mm. The ball mill will match with a spiral classifier. Because your capacity is big, here we suggest using 2 sets of ball mills and 2 sets of spiral classifiers to achieve a better grinding effect. The 0 to 0.074 mm materials will go to the classifier, then the classifier will send the more than 0.074 mm materials back to the ball mill to grind again. The 0.074 mm materials will go to a slurry tank and they'll be transferred to 2 sets of hydrocyclone groups to deslime the mud. If using 2 sets of ball mills and spiral classifiers, we suggest using a total of 4 sets of hydrocyclone groups for desliming. 3. Flotation beneficiation part. Capacity 84 tons per hour. The slurry from hydrocyclone groups will go to 2 sets of mixing tanks. If you use 2 sets of ball mills before, you'll need 4 sets of mixing tanks. You need to add chemicals to the tanks. After that, the pulp will go to the flotation machines and start the concentrated Li2O beneficiation. There are 3 stages for flotation. The first stage needs 4 cells for the roughing process, the second stage needs 4 plus 4 total of 8 cells for the scavenging process, the final part is the cleaning process, and 3 plus 3 plus 2 for a total of 8 cells. If used to process lepidolite, the cells can be used in fewer quantities. 4. Concentrate ore process part. After processing by flotation machines, the concentrate will go to a concentrated pool at first, then a slurry pump will send them to a thickener. You need to add flocculating agents into it to accelerate the concentrated sedimentation. Then concentrate will be transferred by a high-pressure pump from the bottom of the thickener to the vacuum disc filter to dry the 6% grade concentrate Li2O. The tailings also will go to a tailing pool at first, then a slurry pump will send them to a cone thickener to sediment the tailings. The pump will send the tailings to a plate press filter for dewatering, and the overflow of both thickener and cone thickener will go to a water pool. This water is clean, it can be rescued in the former processing part.